Am I doing the right thing? In April of 2020, I was getting the feeling that my wife was texting someone, and possibly having a relationship. One day, I took her phone and went into the bathroom to read some texts. I felt like dirt doing it, but what I read left me shaken. I found multiple texts between her and someone labeled as J where she was telling him that she wanted to kiss him from head to toe. In another, she said maybe for now I'll have to send you lessons online like I have to do for my students. We could start with science lessons. Mary's anatomy. My wife Mary is a teacher and she had been sending Jay graphic pictures of her naked. He responded, love it class 101. I would be your best student. She responded, okay, that's the first time I've laughed in days. You're the best. Miss you. In another text, she asked him where his wife was and he responded that she had flown down to hang out with their kids, so when your husband is sleeping, you should grab some toys and come on over, he won't even know you're gone. I was crushed to read these texts and wasn't sure what to do. My wife came into my office and said, should we talk about the elephant in the room? I asked, who is this J Mary was texting? She told me it was Don, her high school sweetheart, but that nothing physical had happened and that they had only texted and exchanged graphic pictures. Again, I was crushed. This guy was supposed to marry her, but they split because they were of different religions and he and his family couldn't get over that. He was the captain of the hockey team, she was a hockey cheerleader, and captain of the football team. A real stud. Yet she married me. I thought she had gotten over him, but apparently not. Now, we married when we met in college. Mary had finished 2 years of a mathematics degree at a different school and was finishing a teaching degree when we met. Mary quit school and ended her college career when we got married, and supported me through school, where I finished my accounting degree and went on to work in public accounting. We had 5 children together and we lost our 5th, a sweet little boy, to SIDS. We had 2 more children after losing our son, bringing our family size to 6 living children. Mary and I had endured burying our son, but when I became verbally abusive to her and our children, I think it became too much for her. In January of 2010, Mary began her quest to try and win back her high school sweetheart, Don. Mary finally confessed that their relationship had indeed been a physical one. She said she had contacted him just to talk, and that talking included detailed conversations about who or what I had become and how she hated me. Don was happy to listen and egg her on, making sure her hatred grew. Don also talked about problems in his own marriage. Were the problems real? Who knows, but the scumbag vein runs deep with this guy, and he had the chance to secure unlimited time with a beautiful woman, consequence-free, and for as long as he wanted, so he told her he had not had time in a long time. Mary said it didn't sound like him to go without time. Don asked if she was offering, and she said she was. That was it. What followed were trips to his business, an hour each way from our home. Early morning, late evening, weekends, all where they would have time in his shop. Upstairs, downstairs, anywhere he wanted. She stayed overnight in his home, in his own bed, while his wife was out of town. Mary would tell me she was visiting her folks or babysitting some disabled young men close to our home, but she was meeting him for time. She later told me she was meeting him to talk, but they also had time. I asked how many times this happened over the 10 years, from when it started in 2010 to when I discovered it in 2020, and she said it was usually only once a month. I saw her texts and Google Map logs in the early years, and it was multiple times per month. Mary was also taking Pilates instructor certification training and had to stay up in the Twin Cities at a hotel for some weekends. Don met her there on those occasions for time as well. We also ran a high school middle school ski club in the winter, and on those occasions where I couldn't make it on the trips, Don was there in his truck, in the parking lot of the ski hill bar for a nice blow job or quick duck in the back seat. She ducked and sucked this guy for 10 years in as many ways and as many times as she could. I asked her if there was ever an occasion where they met where they didn't have time. She thought about it and answered no. So, it was all about time, at least for him. If it started out as revenge against me, at some point, it stopped being that and turned into an obsession with him, and what must have been impressive equipment and abilities. In between all the time, she would send him lots of naked pics with her s-king and ducking a dildo, and their texts would talk about what they wanted to do to each other. Mary talked about maybe taking a teaching job in her old hometown where he lives because it was difficult to find teaching jobs where we lived. Now I know why that became such an appealing option. Don wanted her to move closer so that he had access to time on a more regular basis. He was not satisfied with it being delivered to his shop and his home a few times a month. He wanted more. He told Mary on more than one occasion that he could never leave his wife, though, because she would take half his business, which was a business he bought from his father. It was obvious to me that she was being used for time, and nothing more. And when Don said he would deny if he were ever caught, I think Mary saw that it wasn't going to turn into the love story she had hoped for. From 2017 to 2020, Mary said she hadn't seen him in person and had only been timing and sending him pictures. I thought our marriage was going really well. I was working hard to change who I was and how I spoke to and treated this wonderful, amazing woman. She was also kind and loving towards me as well. The fact that she was continuing to send Don pornographic pictures along with texts describing how much she missed him and had to get together somehow leaves me baffled. Mary says she doesn't know why she kept doing it. She told me they never met again in person from 2017 on, and I am hoping that's true, but the pics and texts they exchanged sure make it sound like they did. My problem is that I cannot get the images and thoughts of them together, out of my head. We have been working hard to build memories together to try and crowd out the images that plague me. Mary will not tell me many details, saying she can't remember. Without those details, though, my mind runs rampant, making up all kinds of things and making it tough to sleep. Our physical relationship is one round after another of me seeing her with him, in my mind, and me being unable to continue. It's driving me crazy and makes me wonder if I am just holding her here against her will. Had I not seen those texts and pictures, would she have stopped? Do I have a responsibility to inform Don's wife, or would it just hurt her and their children grown and moved away? I love my wife and I know I am responsible for having driven her into his arms. 10 years seems like a long time to get back at someone, though, and even after our marriage started to improve, she kept up the timing and maybe even had time in person, so what do I do? Am I being a fool to think Mary could have stopped her relationship with him and that she might actually love me? Redditor's reactions, story 2 after. Redditor 1, blow up his marriage, let the wife take half his business, he disrespected you, return the favor. Also, it's probably safe to say that you need to leave your wife as well, she kept this up for 10 years, that's not a fling, that's a relationship. Best of luck, brother. Redditor follow up, this. As a member of the long-term and massive infrequency betrayed, the mind movies don't go away. And don't blame yourself. You may have had anger issues while grieving, but cheating is not the way to get you back. Opus 10 years. 5x a month. That is 600 SQL encounters at least. 600 times she need you physical intimacy. 10 years of her not acting right in the marriage due to her guilt. The PTSD inflicted by cheating is abuse too. Don't let her forget that. Edit, and tell the other wife. She deserves to know. Her health at risk too. Redditor 2, were any of your kids born after 2010? You should DNA test them all anyway. STD as well. Buddy, you do whatever you need to do to live with yourself, but if it's me, I'm getting divorced and sending everything I have to that guy's wife and burn down his marriage. She is only with you because he only wanted to use your wife as a duck toy. She would have left you in a second if he wanted. Redditor 3, repeat this to yourself, nothing you did caused your wife to cheat on you. She chose to cheat. Stop taking responsibility for something you had no control over. Do you think you have that kind of power over people? That you could force them to act in certain ways? Of course not. Your wife doesn't love you. She hasn't for a long time. No one can lie, cheat, and live a double life for years without utter disrespect and contempt for their spouse. Get STI testing, see a lawyer, and get into therapy for the betrayal trauma. Read Chump Lady's book, Leave a Cheater, Gain a Life. It will encourage you. The audiobook is awesome. She also has an online blog with supports and resources. Friend, don't waste any more of your precious life with someone who couldn't give two s. It's about gutting you with betrayal, the worst kind of pain. She abused you for a decade. Enough is enough. You are not perfect, but you sure as hell did not deserve this abuse. Sending you strength, my friend. Redditor follow-up, does your family, friends and kids know about the acid she done for 10 years at least? You need to tell them. Story 2, the consequences of rug sweeping. Hello all. Just wanted to share my story and maybe get some advice. My wife F49 and I am 49 have been married for 20 years. When we first met, we had so many things in common. We loved to read, we liked the same types of movies, and we both liked to cook. I loved her deeply, and we had incredible chemistry except in one area. The bedroom. I have suffered from PE from a young age, and although we tried to work through it together, it did put a strain on both of us. Consequently, as time went on, our S-time life suffered. I guess I should have taken it as warning when my wife, early on in our dating, told me that she had cheated on every boyfriend she had ever had. Instead, I chose to ignore that comment, thinking I was somehow special because she had never gone and married any of those other men. I couldn't have been more wrong. About 4 years into our marriage, my wife began working with a new male colleague. From everything she told me, he was quite the ladies' man. I met him a few times and he seemed to be a very nice guy. Good looking, great personality. He was married with kids and I feared nothing because they seemed to be a happy family. One thing that I did take note of was that my wife spoke often about him. She seemed in some way to have a bit of a crush on him. Over the years, they grew closer as work colleagues, and we all, him and his wife along with me and my wife, even took a vacation together. Soon after this trip, however, my wife let me know that he had affairs with several women at their workplace, many of whom were married. It was not long after these revelations that his wife found out and promptly divorced him. My wife became his shoulder to cry on. She began spending evenings alone with him at his home, just talking and drinking wine. I was aware that she was probably having time with him, but I really didn't want to know the truth. We argued about her going over there and she would gaslight me. "You're crazy, we are just really great friends. His kids are over there too. We are just talking." But I really didn't want to know the details. I was seriously considering leaving her at this point, but we had built so much together. A home, our bank accounts, a business, and our investments. I simply didn't want to rock the boat. Stupid, I know. Over time, her relationship with him wore out for reasons I'm not clear about, but really didn't care to know. Eventually he left the company. Life somewhat got back to normal as I drowned out all of my feelings and put on a happy face. When the thoughts of them together rolled through my mind, it would rationalize it. I don't last long enough and she is probably starved for time. He is probably much better in bed than I am. Can I really expect her to go through her life dealing with my pee? These were and still are sickening thoughts to me. Why I tried to rationalize this is beyond me. Things got back to normal but our time life was still horrible. We would only have time maybe once per month or so. Time went on and my wife got a new job that she really enjoyed. And, in a couple of years, I began to see the old familiar signs. Her staying at work late, leaving the house in the morning really early, going out for drinks with friends after work. To make a long story short, I found out she was involved with 2 men at different times from her new workplace. She did admit that she may have been having EAs with these men. I told her I needed her to stop this behavior or that we should just divorce. She immediately said she would stop and that she would do anything to save our marriage. Then it happened again. This time, however, it was with a big wig at her company. I was totally in the dark on this until she had to confess to me. Apparently, the OBS found their text messages on AP's phone. OBS was threatening to tell me about it, so my wife confessed and offered to give me the printout of the text messages. But she begged me not to read it and I didn't. Again, I let it go to keep the peace. Since that time, which was about 10 years ago now, I haven't seen any signs of her cheating. Things have been okay. I say okay because we get along well and have learned how to live together successfully. But the thing is, I don't really love her the same way anymore. Yes, I forgave her indiscretions. Yes, I swept most of it under the rug to save what we built, and to protect myself emotionally. But what that has done is taken away the love I felt for her. We rarely have time now, but we do get along well. Some things in my life have come up now that have me remembering a lot of this, and it is bothering me greatly. So much so, that for the first time ever, I am considering divorce. But who divorces someone 10 years after the incidents? I'm hopeless and lost at this point, but in some ways feel I brought this all on myself. Thank you for listening. Redditor's reactions, story 3 after. Redditor 1, you are only 49 man. Who divorces 10 years later? You do. Go find someone that makes you happy. Man. She is a serial cheater. It would not surprise me if she is still cheating, only underground. I mean, zero consequences to her. Why would she stop? Dude? Get out of this. Think about what she said. She said, I will stop, but she didn't. Make this right with you. Go find love. Redditor 2, you didn't read the texts. Yikes. Because you would have found out it wasn't EA. Yikes, my man. You need therapy if you haven't already. People divorce after 4 years into R. It's okay, you don't have to beat yourself over it. You tried peace over accepting and holding her accountable. Bro, she never faced any of the consequences. You just let her have her affairs while you were put on the back burner. Man, I'm sorry but it sounds like you've been co-parenting and have become roommates. Best of luck mate with whatever you decided, because honestly, I think you deserve better. You've put up with her burden far too long. Redditor 3, what a sad way to live life. Not sure why you're so intent on setting yourself on fire to keep her warm. You have serious codependency issues. Read no more, Mr. Nice Guy. You are addicted to an unhealthy relationship that will continue to traumatize her. You can no longer blame her. She never faces any real consequences. This is your fault for letting your life get this far in a loveless, unhappy marriage with a roommate, and zero romantic feelings. Look in the mirror. Story 3, wife is leaving, how do I process this? Hello. Hey, so my wife 31 and I am 30, we met when we were 15-16 in 2006 and got married right before I joined the army in 2015. We have 2 kids, 9 and 10. I hurt my back in the army, and I am too, and I use it to pay the bills. So since we moved in together I've always paid the bills. She has gotten jobs several times for 6 months at a time, but never anything consistent. She got a new job again 2 months ago and this is the highest paying job she's ever had, $21 per hour and all the overtime she wants. Back in September 2021 we went to a Kia dealership and I co-signed for her a car for $24,000 and just recently I financed her an Apple Watch for Mother's Day. I don't care about the money at all, but I'm just like, how out of nowhere this is. She worked from September to like October at that last job, and ended up unable to pay her car payment, so I took over paying her car and her insurance. I wanted her to either get a job or start school, and after I helped her get set up with school she found her current job, so she started working again. We made a 3-month plan to get to July 1st and be back ahead of the car payments again. For the last 6 weeks she's been constantly at work, like working a double, that's 16 hours, so she's really only been here to sleep. She came home 6 days ago and said she wants to move out but stay married and she lives somewhere else while the kids and I stay here. When I try and talk to her about working it out, and ask her to stay, she said that it's toxic at home and she just wants to focus on herself. She learned to be happy without me and that maybe down the line we could try to work on it. When I pressed her on details of what she means about things, she's like, well, we can get divorced and won't do counseling. She's leaving and how she loves me and I am a great dad, but she's not in love with me. I don't know how to process that. I love her so much it hurts and I can't understand just not loving her anymore. She said how we don't have things in common and how we met when we were young and we were codependent, and that maybe down the line we could work something out and move in again somewhere else, but she won't come back to this house. She just says it's a toxic environment and complains about it being dirty or not up to her standard of clean, but I do my best. The house gets cleaned, 2 to bottom 4 times per week. It's just when she was a stay-at-home mom she would clean every day and she thinks of stuff I don't like, wiping down the back of the toilet and all the surfaces of the bathrooms every time. I'm fine to do whatever, it just would take me practice to get as good as her, and it's like she's so hypercritical of me, and when I point out good things she's just like it's a lot of things, and does not want to try and work on anything at all right now. But we are still living here together. I just don't get why we can't do counseling, or at least try to work on us, but I guess if she doesn't love me then she would have nothing to gain from counseling. I am heartbroken. She was my best friend and we have literally spent the last 16 years planning our future together. She's just like, oh well, I love you but I'm not in love with you anymore, which hurts super bad and makes me want to die, but I'm not going to do anything. She can't move for at least another month, And I am supposed to just sit here and hold it all together for the kids. It's been really hard cleaning the whole house and making sure the kids are taken care of. It's like I'm just suddenly a single dad. We were doing really good, and then I had a flare-up with my back and couldn't really walk the last 20 days, but I'm finally coming out of it, so I am getting more movement. But she came home and told me she doesn't love me after I was coming out of the flare-up, so for the last 6 days I've been ducked off. I keep crying thinking about our life and it's giving me headaches. I also tested positive for COVID yesterday and am feeling really acid from that too. My family and friends all live in Portland and other states, and I am up in Tacoma, Washington near Fort Lewis. I was fine not being around everyone because I had my wife, but now I don't know what to do. I can't sleep, and when I do I have nightmares and sweat like crazy. I miss her so much it hurts and I can't function. I just want to shut down, but I've got to keep going, and I just don't understand how she can just be like, oh by the way, I'm just not in love with you anymore. I bought a bunch of healthy food, and told the kids we are going to start exercising consistently again, but I'm lonely as hell. She would just be like, oh yeah, my meds were way off. Why I said I don't love you. I really miss her, and I guess I'm just posting this as a way of attempting to process the situation. Additional info: the kids are staying with me. She said she's getting a 2-bedroom apartment so they can visit her on the weekends. I'm upset and feel blindsided, and I have COVID right now, so I feel like extra super acid on top of it all. But I agree, I need to just move forward and focus on what's best for the kids. Additional info: wanted to mention she started taking higher and higher doses of Prozac over the last year, and as she went up RS time life died off. She said it was a side effect of the medication and she would try and figure out if her doctor could do anything. Update: so I asked her if she would show me her phone, and she would not. I asked her like 3 times to please just be honest with me and I wouldn't be upset and that I'm already over it, so she was like, I'm only worried about myself. The only person I'd want to be with would be you, but I don't want to be with anyone. I was quit, and then she said that the only thing I could even remotely be upset about was that she had a crush on a guy she works with, but that she's pretty sure he has a girlfriend, so it's whatever. Like, this was a real conversation we just had. I'm not going to lie, when she said that it was like getting stabbed in the chest, I felt confident in myself and keeping my composure after reading everyone's supportive responses all night, but I wasn't prepared for her to say that. You guys were right. I googled divorce lawyers and sent one my info for a consolation. She's upstairs laying down, and I'm downstairs hanging out with the kids. I felt so betrayed when she said she had a crush some guy at work. It's definitely 100% over, and hopefully my sadness can turn into anger. Because this is BLLS it and I don't deserve it. Update: wife is leaving me, not sure what to do. Update: hello. I made a post about my wife leaving me, and how I was lost, and all of you commenting and talking with me has really helped me get through the last 2 days. As a lot of you said there was most likely someone else, and you were right. She wouldn't let me look at her phone, but swore up and down she wasn't cheating. I asked her to please just be honest, and after pressing her on it she admitted she has a crush on a coworker. Well, I have been trying to get everything done as quick as possible. I closed our joint account, there wasn't any money in the account, and I told her this morning that she needed to go to T-Mobile and start herself an account. I don't care about the phone I paid for, but if she wants to keep her number she needs to go open an account and port it over. She seemed upset, and when I asked what's up, she said I was trying to screw her over money-wise. I explained that it doesn't really cost much to take a phone you own and start your own account, and I said that I want the kids during the week, my car, the dog, and the house, and that she wants the cat, her car, and the kids on the weekend, and to go rent her own apartment, so if she's cool with it we can file uncontested divorce ASAP. but if she wants to contest it, that's fine too. I'm not asking for money from her to pay for it, and I'll pay it with a loan. I want her off my dears, off my medical, off my bills and anything else. I told her I need the divorce papers to remove her from those things, and I want it done ASAP. I told her she would have to change her name herself. I can't do that for her. She started crying not super hard and asked what changed from the last week, and I told her that even if she can't see it, she's having an emotional affair with her coworkers that she has a crush on. She got super defensive and stated that she doesn't even talk to him like that and that they are not even friends, and I will regret my actions in 6 months, insinuating that we would try to get back together after she will have worked on herself or whatever. All I said was hopefully by then I can find someone who actually loves me, and I walked out of the room as she was saying something else. She just kept trying to say she wasn't cheating and that she just wants to go work on herself, and that I'm so stupid for thinking she's pursuing anyone. She's like, oh, I don't want to be with anyone. I didn't say this, but I thought, yeah, well, I need a wife and a partner I can count on. I didn't engage. I just said what I needed to say and left. Am I doing this right? It's really hard to stay strong, as a big part of me still loves her no matter what I say, but I cannot reconcile those feelings with the feeling of betrayal. I just want her gone as quickly as possible now, and she's acting like she won't be able to afford to move on the 1st of July now. Why is she trying to switch up? I'm sure at this point it's a manipulative tactic to give herself some security and peace of mind regarding the situation. I don't know. Update: my wife suddenly came home and said she didn't love me anymore about 20 days ago. I guess I am reaching out again because I am struggling pretty bad right now. My wife suddenly came home and said she didn't love me anymore about 20 days ago. I guess I am reaching out again because I am struggling pretty bad right now. Since she came home about 20 days ago and told me she didn't love me anymore and wanted to move out, I have been trying to focus on myself and the kids. After she told me, I spent about 5 days trying to get her to go to counseling or just work on our marriage, but she wouldn't even attempt to try. And when I bring up all of the positives and good times we have had the last 16 years, she twists it around and says that things were bad when like we all had fun, and she even posted about how much of a good time she was having at the time. I was constantly tearing up, and had bad headaches, until on the 6th day she admitted that she had a crush on a coworker. Since she said that she has backtracked like crazy, saying she only thought this dude had some good qualities she could see in a partner, but that he has a girlfriend and I don't even talk to him like that, but if I did it would be none of your business because we aren't together anymore. She keeps saying she is doing what's best for her and the children. This is frustrating because she is constantly telling the kids, hey, we're gonna go do XYZ on whatever day, and then she doesn't. She told them she would pay them for chores, but then when she got paid she said she couldn't afford it. I felt bad for them, so I paid for the chores she told them she would pay for, but I had to wait a month because I only get paid once. She told them both she would take them hiking and she never did. She took the day off work to go to my son's recorder event. She got drunk the night before and slept the entire next day. So I went with him and took pictures because he wanted her to see. All I ask of her while she is moving out is to clean up after herself, and stick to what she promises our kids. I took the kids to my mom's and we spent 4 days there swimming and doing fun stuff. When we got back the house was a wreck, and she said that she isn't cleaning or doing anything in this house because it's toxic and she doesn't want to be here, and it's not her home. Like I've always had to keep all of my things in the garage, and she decorated the whole house and shows how everything would be. She now says she needs to stay in this house with the kids and I until she can move into an apartment on the 15th of July, but she won't pick up after herself or help in any way. She also said she won't give me any money towards the July rent, even though she is staying here for half of the month. She says she is broke, but Amazon packages keep showing up. She goes out and brings back to-go food boxes, and she has gotten her nails done at least twice. I went from £215 to £190, and I've been eating and drinking more regularly now, and have stopped losing weight, now sitting at 194.4 pounds, 5'11". I was with her from when I was 15, I am 30 now. I know I need to wait until this is all over, and I have had time to move on, I just don't want to be lonely anymore. When this started, I was telling my wife how I missed her since she was so busy at work. I can't imagine myself with another woman, but I don't want to just be alone. I don't know how to even approach or talk to women, I've always been with my wife. I don't know if I am ugly or attractive, I don't know what apps people use to talk or what, and it all just seems so overwhelming right now. Even after everything that has happened, there is a part of me that just wishes that she would love me the way I love her, that she would just hold me and hug me, and that I was enough to make her stay. I am still attracted to her. She came downstairs in a new lace nightgown thing this morning, and I almost told her she looked good as like an automatic reaction, but it made my stomach turn and my heart. I didn't expect it to bother me. I keep telling myself that I am okay and that I will find someone that will love me for me, and not for my money or stability or whatever reason my wife was with me, but I don't know how I can ever trust another person the way I trusted her. I don't just have time to have time, I need a deep, emotional connection, so when my buddies are trying to tell me to just go out and have a one-night stand and that will help me feel better, I just feel like so sad, and I wish my wife wouldn't have done this to me. I would have done anything for her. I paid all the bills, I took the kids to and from school, I did birthday parties and bedtimes, I made her coffee every day, I put gas in her car, I ran errands. Like, I don't know what I could have done differently. She tells me I am toxic, a narcissist, and that I gaslight her, but all I asked for was her to go to counseling. She says that I don't take responsibility, but she can't tell me what taking responsibility even looks like. I don't think I am those things, but I told her that I'd be willing to do whatever it would take to work on those issues. I've already spoken to a lawyer. I need $1,250 for the partial down payment, and I am disabled and can't really walk well after I was injured while in the army, so I only get paid from the VA once a month for disability. I'm going to take the $1,250 out of the deposit I get in a few days, and then cross the bride of running out of money mid-month when that happens. Thank you for taking the time to read my posts. Thank you everyone for commenting and talking with me. It really helps to talk with everyone. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Redditors reactions, new updates. Redditor 1, man, she is probably seeing that Coworker. Their work might have a policy against it, so she told you that. I would find out and actually see if he has a girlfriend. Redditor 2, mate, you know she is cheating. It's going to be tough, but you can move on. I'm sure there is someone that will love you for who you are out there, but you got to be out there to meet her. The more you distract yourself and work on moving on, the easier it will be. Stay strong and please don't be nice during the divorce. Don't give her more than what she deserves. Don't give up what you should have. Redditor 3, when you can hit her with the divorce papers and see if that will knock her out of the fog. Also go 180 and grey stone with her. Give your and take positive energy with and to your children. They know and absorb what is happening. Stay strong. Story 2, why can't I stay strong? Hello. My post history has more context. My wife is still living in the house. She told me June 3rd she wanted to move out to work on herself. 5 days later she admitted to having a crush on a guy at work. On July 6th, she said the following. I don't know why you're acting like you're trying to build a case against me 1 minute and want to be cordial the next. Oh, Keith and I have only been talking to each other the last 2 weeks. I have been fully single for much longer than that, so don't try to act like I'm doing anything wrong so that you can feel like the victim somehow. I'm sorry it didn't work out. We were both at fault and I wish it could have worked out differently, but now I'm just trying to be my best me and figure out how to be happy. So 2 weeks prior to July 6th would be June 22nd. So while we are still married and living together the entire time, she started dating this guy 19 days after telling me she just wanted to move out and work on herself, but we could stay married. Am I wrong for thinking this is messed up that it's all so close together? She keeps telling me I am trying to be a victim and that she didn't cheat because we haven't been together in a long time. I literally took her out to dinner on Mother's Day in May and bought her an Apple Watch. I have bad sciatica in my leg and hip. She won't let me sleep in my bed that I specifically bought to deal with my pain. I got really upset this morning because I had a very hard time sleeping last night and she woke me up to use my Amazon account to check on an order she made. She said she wanted to know if her sunglasses have showed up. I tried to just check it and go back to sleep, but when I checked the account on June 22nd she had ordered a sexy schoolgirl outfit, and it just hurt. I thought I was being strong, but seeing that cut deep. Trying to process a lot that has happened and how I feel about everything. Vent update. I have been writing down everything that happens for my own sanity. I am having trouble with everything that happened the last few days. It's just exhausting and overwhelmingly MG, so I am sharing it here to vent, help myself work through what is happening. Brittany came home at 4 p.m. after her trip to Seattle with her boyfriend, and said she was going to sleep on the couch for the rest of the day. I asked her to go to the bedroom. The kids and I are going to be using the living room, kitchen, etc. It's not fair for us to have to clean and work around her. I keep asking her to just do the near minimum as a roommate, clean up after herself, do her own laundry, put away food after using it, and to stop leaving messes everywhere. Just because she doesn't want to live here, the kids and I still have to, and trashing the house is not fair. She argued that she didn't have to do anything and didn't have to explain why, and started lashing out. She sent him a voice message asking him to go to a hotel with her, telling him how she loves him, showing me pictures of her kissing him, and telling me how I am ugly and won't find anyone who will ever love me. Just a lot of really mean things. She started saying she would have her boyfriend shoot me, that he has a gun and that I need to leave her alone. I left the room and texted this guy on Instagram, explaining where I am coming from. That I don't care about her, but that I'm not okay with being threatened with violence. I just want her gone as soon as possible and peace for my children. I don't know why I thought to message him, but she wouldn't stop. She became very upset, screaming and demanding I tell her exactly what I said to her boyfriend. She tried to call him, and ask him to block me because I was going to say crazy things about her, but he didn't and still hasn't blocked me. I sent a short straightforward message, because I am trying to stay calm and stick to the facts. I took my daughter, who was next door playing in a friend's yard, and left the house. My son thankfully was at a skate park with friends. When I got home she was gone. I felt like I did a really good job staying strong and not giving her any satisfaction of seeing me hurting. I thought that since I didn't get upset when she was doing all of this I was over her and done hurting, but yesterday and today I just feel really bad again. I feel so exhausted, and just sick to my stomach when I even think about her. She kept telling me she hates me and I just don't even understand why or how. I scrolled all of our text messages and I don't know. If anyone should hate anyone, I should hate her. She called and apologized before she got home later that night, I didn't want to talk, so I just ended the call after she talked for about 10 seconds. Last night she shows up at midnight. She started apologizing again, saying she didn't know why she acted that way, and that she was sorry. I didn't want to interact, so I just said that it was all very traumatic and exhausting and I just wanted to be left alone, and got up and walked to the garage and locked the door until I heard her walk upstairs and go to sleep. She has been gone at work all day today, and I am already stressing out about when she's going to show up again. Update: tried and failed to get a protection order, feeling so defeated. If you have been following the current dumpster fire that is my life, I really appreciate your support. I thought I'd have a better update, but today went horribly bad. She came in my room super hostile and woke me up. The kids were in here with me, so we got up and moved to the living room to get away from her. A few minutes later she came downstairs and continued arguing, and then she started video recording me, saying I had pain meds I was not supposed to have. I have a prescription for any meds I take, and accusing me of all sorts of crazy things in front of our kids. I locked my garage door and told the kids to get ready so we could leave. She started saying I couldn't take the kids anywhere, and as we were walking out the door she called 911 and all I heard her say was, "He's hitting me, I don't feel safe." I have never hit a woman or anything close in my entire life. She was lying and making false statements to the police. I got in my car and the kids and I drove around for a bit while I called the police and explained what was going on. A bit later a sheriff called back and I explained again, and he advised me to go downtown to file a protective order. I got downtown and the place that was supposed to help me just gave me the paperwork. I filled it out myself and went down the street to the courthouse. I turned in the paperwork and waited forever with the kids until we were called into a courtroom. The judge was very short with me. I told her everything that has been happening and she asked me if I feel unsafe or like someone is going to hurt me. I said yes, how she has been threatening to shoot me or to have her boyfriend shoot me, but the judge said since I didn't have any evidence it was denied. She gave me papers to serve her with, for a Zoom court date in 2 weeks, but I can't serve her myself, nor will anything stop her from coming back here and freaking out again for the next 2 weeks until the Zoom court date. I just hate everything right now. It was all a giant waste of time and I dragged my kids around all day for nothing. Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1, she did not grant the temporary order but set a hearing. Probably for a permanent order. Get your evidence assembled for that. And get an attorney to represent you. Op answer: yes, that's what happened. It's really frustrating because I don't know what crazy shot she is going to do next. If all the things I said today don't count, I don't know what to even gather as evidence. I just want her to leave me alone. Redditor 2, I'd get cameras installed ASAP, and go with the kids to live, friends, relatives to stay until you are in a house with full monitoring. You all need to be safe, and collect evidence. Redditor follow-up, this the potential witness will also give you backup in court if something happens or dissuade her from trying something in the first place. Redditor 3, step back. The judge didn't give you the restraining order because she thought there was no physical danger to you. Of course you disagreed, but what she did give you is a hearing in 2 weeks that you can present your evidence and maybe you will be granted a restraining order. Op answer: I get that. I am just so exhausted by her not letting me sleep and harassing the ever-living hell out of me whenever she is here. I thought I'd finally have a few days of peace at least. I will pull myself together and present a better case in 2 weeks, as that's my only choice at this point unless I can get the stupid-ass rental company to let her off the lease so she can't keep coming back here. She wants off the lease, the rental company just won't release her until I find someone to consign for me.